So it's come to my attention over a long period of time, actually, but most lately by looking at the analytics on my YouTube channel here, that the overwhelming majority of my listeners are male. I think this is not just my channel at all, but rather it's the topic of politics. I happen to teach in the area of politics, as you might have guessed from my channel. And, you know, that area is still overwhelmingly male. Like 3/4 in some cases of the students sitting in the seats are male. And I totally love that. And I certainly don't want to lose any of them. And I think it's great. But I've always wondered, where are the women? Why are not women interested in the subject matter at the same rate? Let me go to my analytics here, and I will tell you what I mean. I'll have to look at the graph and tell you. My most popular video right now is the one on Sun Tzu and Machiavelli, and it's, I mean, it probably is especially popular with guys. And guys are interested in military things and military history. That's been my experience at a greater clip than women are. I got into military history when I was in graduate school. It was a guy who got me interested in it. He was just like on fire for military history, and his enthusiasm rubbed off on me. So maybe I wouldn't have gone into this area of military history in my lectures if it hadn't been for that, I suppose. But that's not, I mean, I was inherently interested in politics as I was growing up. My family was a fairly political family. We had a lot of political discussions, and I was interested. And I wanted to go into journalism, and then I decided to pick up a political science major, and found that I was really super interested in that, and particularly political philosophy. And, things just kind of happened, and I got sucked into getting a PhD, and then got a job pretty darn quick, and everything's been fine. There's no, like, anti-female bias that I've ever experienced in the profession of government and political science in academia. So that's not it at all. This is some issue having to do with interest. And my experience obviously is different from many women. So I'm looking at the graph here that shows like the age and the gender of the viewers of this channel. Okay, no surprise, 13 to 17-year-olds, barely there. 0.2% for male and 0.1% for female. We go to 18 to 24 years, though. 18 to 24, that's the college years for undergraduate. Male, 10% of my viewership. Female, 2.7. And then here's the real kicker, okay? 25 to 34 years, that's when people are becoming kind of like citizens, They're starting to vote, they're starting to have some economic substance in the world, gonna, maybe get involved at a higher rate than they were when they were in college, or if they didn't go to college, when they were trying to establish themselves in a job and just make some money. But at this point in time, you may be able to turn your attention away from either college or making money to a certain extent, and think about yourself as a citizen of your country, and look around at the global issues and whatnot. Anyway, so in this category of 25 to 34-year-olds, males, 38% of the viewership, females, 3.6. I don't understand this. That's really stark. And it's replicated, in my experience, in universities. That the people who end up in our classrooms, maybe this is a little bit more skewed, but it's lopsided. All right, then I'm going down to 35 to 44-year-olds. Those are even more established people with an even greater rate of voting and participation. Here we have males, 18% of my viewership, females 4.1. Now, finally at 45 to 54 years, we see females coming in just a little bit more. They're half of the membership, or subscribers. Or I guess these are viewers, yeah, not just subscribers. So, males 9.3%, females 4.8%, so a little over half. At 55 to 64, where people are really voting, and guess it's not too good actually, males 4.5, females 0.4%. And by the time we get past 65 years, I have no female audience whatsoever. And I think those females, though, 65 and plus, are really super duper likely to vote. So, and so are the men, but yeah. So, what's the end? Now, okay, I guess I can see that when you get older, when you're 55 plus, maybe you think you know where you stand in your political philosophy, and you're not making any changes. I would dare say you probably should. You should probably still be thinking about it. Please don't get stuck in your ways. That's so boring. But I would bet that part of that drop-off generally is due to people really feeling like they solidly know, what their positions are and where they stand. Whereas people who are younger, they're still trying to figure out their political philosophy. So I get that. But the lopsidedness remains in all categories, and it's really, really stark. I don't think I mentioned that when you get to, no, I did. When the really young folks, females are just barely on the board at all. And on the other end, females aren't on the board. I mean, it's zero at 65 plus. So I feel like women are missing out here. Politics is a subject that is about conflict. Some people say that women are averse to conflict more than men. However, some people say that women are more concerned about our future because many of them are mothers, or even if they aren't, they can sort of feel that the next generation is partly due to nurture. I don't know. I hear this. I'm speaking in stereotypes, but they're stereotypes that I hear all the time from people, right? Some very well-meaning people, and they probably have some truth to them. That women are concerned about their children, their grandchildren, their future, the future of the world, and but this segment of the population doesn't seem to be nearly as interested in learning the nuts and bolts of political ideas, and probably, yeah, I would have to say political processes. And there's a reason why men are still much more likely to get involved in politics, and I dare say it's probably not really a, quote, glass ceiling, end quote, in any sense of there being somebody there, some mechanism that stops you, even though, yes, I'm sure there are at times. I'm not saying there's no such thing as a glass ceiling. But I think it would have been way more bustable by now if my fellow females had gotten their head into the subject matter. That sounds kind of rough, but I want to get these folks, and I don't know exactly what to do. I would like to hear like constructive information in the comments. Again, this isn't just about my channel. This is my experience, my experience in not only my teaching, but in the teaching of other political scientists, not only where I teach, but pretty much every single one that I have talked to about this, and every institution that I have any familiarity with, there's this lopsidedness. So, I mean, even if you don't think I do a great job with this channel, which is totally understandable, and I could always do better, but that's not going to explain it. So I would love to hear your feedback of the whole gender thing and why it is that men and women seem to be lopsidedly interested in men more than women. And also, if anybody wants to give me any insights on why 25 to 34 years, although I think I kind of know, my theory is that they're forming, they finally have the luxury to be able to thoroughly form an opinion if they're intelligent beings who, this is their time to do that. But if you have another thought on that, I would love to hear that as well. Okay, bye.